my daughter. She knew I was always strong. I always had her back. And although she's not here, I still can't let her down.
While sobbing with pain in her voice, that someone had drugged and raped her.
At a wrenching Knox County court hearing,
She is my only child and she was so young.
there wasn't a dry eye in sight.
He did not have to do that.
22-year-old Danishka Mejia was a young woman whose personality and contagious laugh was bigger than life. Originally from Costa Rica, she and her immediate family moved to Tennessee when she was a young girl, where she was raised by the mother and father as the only child. Even though she was in America for the majority of her formal years, her heart was in both the state and her homeland. She spent time in both places and had a desire to go back to Costa Rica to live out her life, all before an unfortunate encounter with an alleged friend, which ended up costing Danishka her life days later. Coming up, Danishka Mejia, who affectionately went by Dany, was the center of her parents' world, being their only daughter. Dany as a young person was described as fun, loving, outgoing, and always kept a big smile. From a young child, she enjoyed dance, so her parents enrolled her in dance school, and as she got older, she developed a love for the game of volleyball. While in high school at Carter High, in the Strawberry Plains neighborhood, she dominated as number 20 on the volleyball court, having spent many years playing the game. She loved her school and the connections she made, but at the age of 16, she decided to go back to Costa Rica to finish her education. She truly had the best of both worlds, able to live in two different countries, and over time came back stateside. Already a longtime resident of Knoxville, she picked up where she left off with family and friends, while working and just enjoying being young. However, her life became derailed after an incident on April 1st, 2024, inside of an acquaintance's home. That night, Dany was said to be over 39-year-old Latawyne Osborne's house, with whom not clear, but she was said to have had a drink and smoked a little before falling asleep. The next day, when she woke up, something was definitely off because she was partially clothed and found that her feminine products had been removed. Dany then decided to confront Latawyne, and when she did, he denied touching or graping her. After leaving his house, she used her better judgment and went to the hospital to get a grape kit done. Sure enough, the examination found DNA evidence that Latawyne had indeed completely violated her. This information proved what she already felt, and from the looks of it, Latawyne might have put something in her CBD or drink. So on April 4th, Dany went to the police with all her evidence and filed a report to press charges on Latawyne, also telling police she was concerned about how he might react. To give you some background on Latawyne, he spent many years behind bars, plus he proclaimed to be a member of the Gangster Disciples. In 2006, he was arrested after he got pulled over in his vehicle in Knoxville. They found hard white on his body, as well as soft white and 2 firearms under the front seat of his car. Latawyne was later convicted of 2 counts of distributing the white substance within 1,000 feet of a school, one for the hard and one for the soft. He was also convicted on 1 count of possessing a firearm and furtherance of trafficking crime. For the illegal substance offenses, he was given 78 to 97 months imprisonment with a mandatory 10 years for the gun offense. The district court sentenced him to 78 months on each of the drug charges to be served concurrently and a consecutive term of 120 months on the gun charge for a total sentence of 198 months imprisonment, which was about 16 and a half years, followed by 8 years of supervised release. In 2017, the district court granted Latawyne motion for a sentence reduction in accordance with the amendment changes to the sentencing guidelines. The district court then reduced his sentence from 198 months to 183 months imprisonment, which was about 15 years and 3 months. Congress later enacted the First Step Act, which increased the threshold quantities of the hard white, triggering the mandatory minimum penalties. So in 2019, Latawyne again requested a lesser sentence because the hard white conviction under count 1 rendered him eligible for an additional sentence reduction. Per the new sentence guidelines, he asked the court to reduce his custodial sentence to 171 months and his supervised release to 6-year mandatory minimum. In 2020, the district court reviewed his earlier analysis and denied his motion, deeming him to be eligible for the sentence reduction under the First Step Act, but declined to grant him one. The court explained that eligibility for relief does not entitle a defendant to a preliminary resentencing, and it should consider the defendant's revised guideline range, criminal history, conduct while incarcerated, and any other relevant factors. They ultimately found that a 183-month sentence remained appropriate and reasoned that Latawyne had not presented new facts that would cause them to revise its earlier analysis. He also had incurred an additional disciplinary sanction since the reduction in his sentence, for a total of 14 disciplinary sanctions while he was in custody. The court also denied his request for a reduction of his supervised release time. He ultimately challenged the district court's decision and filed an appeal in which he was granted release from jail in August 2020 after 14 years and some change. Now, even though he served his time, he would get out and ultimately do the unthinkable just a few years after being released. After 22-year-old Danishka filed a police report that he raped her, she worried about what was to come. However, no one saw that in only a few days she would be unalive in her own home and two of her friends would be shot in the process. On April 5, 2025, she was inside her home with a friend who was 9 months pregnant at the time, alongside her friend's boyfriend. As the three were asleep, Latawyne and two other unknown masked men broke into her Knoxville home in the middle of the night and forced them into the basement. He then ordered Dany to shoot the friend's boyfriend in the head, but she refused, begging for no one to be harmed, according to authorities. This is when Latawyne gave her a baggie that appeared to contain drugs and forced Dany at gunpoint to snort it with a straw until she passed out. The two friends tried desperately to revive her by performing CPR and putting water on her while begging Latawyne to stop, but he continued to torture her while she was unconscious, filming parts of the DV as if it was all fun and games. Once Dany appeared unalive, the men shot the couple, who both gratefully survived, but in the process, Latawyne was accidentally shot himself by one of his co-conspirators. He went to the hospital but lied, saying that Dany was having an overdose when someone broke into the home and shot them. However, no one believed the nonsense coming out of his mouth. The Knoxville Police Department identified the two other men from the home invasion as 21-year-old Marquise Ellis and 32-year-old Edward Wilson. The two of them stole Dany's car and set it on fire after the break-in. All three were arrested, plus Latawyne's mother, for trying to cover for him. The medical examiner determined that Dany lost her life from an illegal cocktail that included fentanyl, heroin, and meth, according to prosecutors. Latawyne was able to avoid the possibility of the death penalty at trial by pleading guilty to first-degree murder, 3 counts of attempted first-degree murder, and aggravated sexual battery on June 2, 2025. As a part of the plea, he was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
According to prosecutor Rachel Hill, Latawyne Osborne drugged and raped Danishka last April. 2 days after she reported rape to police, Osborne and 2 accomplices busted into Danishka's home.
Ms. Sabaha Mejia was begging for no one to be harmed. And
prosecutors revealed
Mr.
Osborne forced
that she would
Danishka
not-
to snort a mix of deadly drugs at gunpoint until she fell unconscious and died.
Then observed Osborne take a garbage bag and tie it around Mejia's head.
2 of Danishka's surviving friends were with her the night of the murder, including a pregnant woman.
After he made me watch her, he made me give her CPR. It made me feel like I had failed because I couldn't bring her back. I got shot in my hand twice.
Osborne agreed to a plea in a move to avoid a harsher penalty.
The other 3 that were charged in this case are set to face trial in January 2026 for their roles in the crime. The night before Dany lost her life, she had dinner with her mother and told her that she was glad she did the right thing by reporting the crime against her. Dany did not want another woman to go through what she did, and even though she was not sure how he would react, she wanted to do what was right. Dany as a person was described as a gentle soul who was thoughtful and always rooting for the underdog. She was deeply loved by her family, and her presence on this earth will forever be missed. My thoughts and prayers go out to her loved ones, and I'm glad they were able to get justice they so deserve. Dany is sadly forever 22, and that should not be the case. Her life mattered, and she should still be here. So please don't forget to comment your thoughts and prayers for this family in this still difficult time, and hit that like button and share to make your people aware. And as always, remember to stay woke, things change quickly.